Right there, you are seeing the first breath of a baby sperm whale. To hear these clicks and codas, they're like little claps. You'll hear this a lot during the birth. This is some of the most rarest footage one could ever get from the ocean.
Well, I think you've accurately hyped that. So I'm going to bring some of that footage up right now, and you can help share exactly what we're seeing. So this is the footage that you shared with the world. What are we seeing right here?
Well, first you saw that was the moment of delivery. And if you back up a little bit, there's one key piece that came up there that maybe you could have missed. So back up a little bit, right there. Now, if you look right above that whale, you are seeing the first breath of a baby sperm whale on that lower right-hand corner. And that is the whale's mother. Her name is Rounder. And so the baby had literally had just come out, and the baby knew to swim right to the mother's head. So I just think, the size comparison. So you could see just the size difference. These female sperm whales are, they could be 40 feet in length, and this baby was around 9-10 feet. So it's still, a quarter of their size. And the baby was still over 1,000 pounds with around a 16-month gestation. So you could just imagine the kind of care that was needed. But something is also really cool, and we'll see in later footage. But I just love that little head, and we were on a boat. We just were watching from about 150 meters away. So we didn't actually see this kind of point of view until later.
Is that ever hard to know that you were relatively close to an event like this, but couldn't see it with your own eyes and have to, assemble it all in the footage later?
Sperm whale researchers have spent entire lifetimes observing whales and have not gotten to see this thing. This is just pure serendipity, but we did have underwater microphones. We did have 2 drones up in the air. So we had our equipment as part of our larger efforts. So the Cetacean Translation Initiative has been listening since 2020. We're building up the largest non-human or more than human communication database of millions of tokens of sperm whales communicating. So we're beginning to kind of translate their language. So these whales are quite familiar with our sailboat. We think it was just complete luck and special that the whales shared this in front of us. And I don't, in one sense, we don't see this as a discovery. This was like the whales basically shared this secret with us. But now that they shared it, it provides such an interesting portal. Like, we hadn't really known how sperm whales reproduce. So we've now, in one of the studies, we were able to trace this back, that they've been doing this collaborative lifting for 35 million years.
When I read that line and then saw the graph in the study, it's the sort of thing that you dream about when you're reading a high school biology textbook, right? And you start to see like the evolution chains or trees, and you're just thinking, what must life have been like to lead to this sort of things, and you can trace things back. It was just super cool. Should we keep watching the footage and see some of this behavior that you're describing keep unfolding?
Go for it.
Cool. And they're also close together. It's amazing. All right, this is another clip here.
This is a really dramatic piece.
That is the newborn there, right, in the center.
Yes. There's one instance where the baby is like almost completely out of the water. But there's something very interesting. It started out with the 11 whales holding the baby one. There's one male in this group, by the way. So it's 10 female whales and one subadult male by the name of Alan. And when the male whales reach a certain age, they separate from the matrilineal population. So it's basically grandmothers, mothers, and kids in sperm whale populations. And after the males are, 10, 12 years, they'll separate and they'll actually become world travelers. And they become 80 feet, so twice as big as the females. But this one subadult male came back and was there, but actually played the least role in lifting.
So just kind of there for credit, or?
I mean, one could just speculate at this moment, but it was just interesting. There was one time, I believe, Alan touched the baby and the entire thing. So in terms of quantifying Alan's role, he played the least role.
Right.
But he was there and he came back, so we don't know really. It's just, these are interesting questions it raised.
I'd love to dive a little deep into sperm whale society for a moment. Like, you've mentioned Unit A and then the two sort of lines that were part of it. What does the sort of typical structure and how big do these structures really get for sperm whales?
Yeah, units could, they can vary in size. What really separates the units is like who they're with. And these are whales that are usually grouped together. And one of the earlier findings was that the units would have specific dialects. And there could be separate units that are like interacting and in the same area, but you could tell them apart by their accent. So it would be like, there'd be like a British and a Scottish accent, and you could notice like, oh, you're from Edinburgh, just by the unit that they're with. Like, it wasn't even known until the 1950s that sperm whales actually vocalize. We'd known humpback whales. They make these like more kind of melodious songs that could travel long distances. But some of the sperm whale clicks are quite quiet and soft and only go a few kilometers. So, to hear these clicks and codas, they're like little claps. Like in Dominica, there's this one, it's the 113. So you'll hear this a lot during the birth. It's the click, 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 click. And you'll hear that is the dominant vocalization that they're sharing during this birth, which is the coda type for the Eastern Caribbean.
The project's been going on for a few years now. Is there a single instance of noise that has surprised you the most? Is there one sort of memorable recording that you can remember aside from the incredible footage we've watched today?
This goes to a comment that Roger Payne, who discovered that whales sing, and he was like my mentor before he passed away, actually right before we saw this whale birth. And he was telling me of like places in canyons where the whales love to congregate because basically they like the acoustics. It's like going to a concert hall. Like the whales will congregate in these underwater canyons because the echoes of their voices bounce off the walls. And, that idea that there's like specific amphitheaters that sometimes rather than just like finding food, like the whales are just going to like enjoy the sound and socialize.
If these canyon meetups aren't already called dive bars, they really should be, because that's
It's the ultimate dive bar.
yeah.
Just without the sticky beer on the floor.
Exactly. They've got it better than we do.